Okay, I think I have this right. Okay. You're ready to go, right? Okay. Is recording. Okie dokie. So, hi, I'm Christine, and I am the oldest sister. And well, Andrew says I used to beat him up, but that's not really true. And of course, I'm the boss because older sisters are always the boss. See, I'm the boss. Like he doesn't know even how to talk without me. See? All right. So, Andrew, I know that you've been doing a lot of research on giants. Like, how did you ever even find out about giants? And are like we really from giants? I know you love research, so tell us more about this. And like, you went on to which research engine? I mean, sorry, which what's that called? Which engine? I mean, which model did you use to do it? And why did you decide to do it? 6 fingers. Why? What? So tell us why were you? I'm not sure I understand. Why were you like actually doing this? Like, what was your motivation behind it? Wait, how? Wait, run this by me again. Like, show me your hands. What are you talking about? Yeah, but where was this extra finger go? I'm not like this. Is this what my hand? Except for those fingers wouldn't be there, huh? This is kind of complicated. So the question is, like, and what's the connection with Pennsylvania, and like, what prompts did you use in order to find? So, but okay, so the question is, did they find like, was this just like one or two things, or has this been like, was it like a tribe, or was it just like a few people? And what about these thumb things? That what's a silverback? Oh, okay. So do you just think it was just us before we evolved? So like your prompt, but your prompt, what did you use for the prompt, Andrew? Did you just say like, I heard that these exist? Like what is the deal? Like did you, how did you do that? I'm just curious because like maybe your prompt influenced like okay, okay. Well, it's why did you decide on Nighthawk? Like is that right? But I mean, why did you decide on that? That was like, do you like feel that that was something that you connected with? Yeah, no, that was a funny movie. Yeah. Yeah, so tell us about that, and what was the reason why you got into that? Like, what was, because I'm interested in all the numbers. So for those of us who are not builders or in that kind of a field, tell me a little bit about like what's the base. I mean, I know like mathematically the base, well, okay. Okay. So why is it more efficient? Because you said it's more efficient than 10? Oh, well, no, not humanly. Huh. Oh, fun fact. Wait, you're going really fast here. I'm trying to follow along. Remember, I got the brain injury, Andrew. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, you're talking about the little line things on your fingers, like the little things that separate your whatever they are, knuckle. But that's only 20. That's only 24. Are you just talking about your fingers? Then you turn them over. Well, so then, what about your thumb? How much is that worth? So that's I got 12, right? Yeah, two hands. Wait. That to me, Andrew, is only 24 because it's 12 and 12. Okay, this was something that I have to think about for a while. Okay, I don't really understand that. I feel like my kids, like this is what I feel like they must go through when I. Okay, let's do it. Wait, I can't see your hand. That's what the problem is. Yeah. Okay. Wait, am I counting with you? Okay, but you got to move your hand, Andrew, because it's not in the frame. Yeah, there. Okay, I got that. 24. Oh, so you're saying these are just like the sticks. Like this is a 12 stick, 12, 12, 12, and you have five 12s. Is that what you're saying? So what do you do when you're done counting the last 12? Then you go back onto this hand? So it can only go up to 5 12s. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Well, you're the one explaining. So would look like this. So I would just say six, six, six. I'm fascinated by this six finger thing. Everybody has it in Brazil, like those family, huh? Is it okay? Interesting. Okay, so you learned about giants in Pennsylvania, but that wasn't exactly documented per se. Is this correct? Well, we should call them that. We should call them. You should call them now. I would call them. I don't. I mean, we could call them and ask them if they have it. Hmm, interesting. So is it like, so do you think it was just like, so you think that we are descendants of from giants because we are from Pennsylvania? Like that's why you guys are so tall and I'm so short? Yeah, but I mean, I'm short. Like you guys are really tall. Like even our sister is tall. That's yeah, but I'm not that tall either. I'm like 5'3". Oh. I thought that this was gonna be exciting. Like I was gonna learn that I was part giant. Andrew, I was so excited. Okay, so I have to tell people this. So my brother Andrew, he like texted me. He was like all excited and like, oh my gosh, like you have to read this, all about the giants. And he's like telling me, yeah, he was all excited. Right, he was all excited. But then the problem is, then he never like neglected to tell me that this wasn't a thing. Like it wasn't. I trusted you. I trusted that you were like my brother, and I could like trust whatever you say. I don't know about this. This is very overwhelming to me. Six fingers. So the chances of us having six fingers, like as a like collective planet, as a big person. A lot taller than me. Okay. So, yeah, don't listen to my brother. Then I have to double check my research. I just thought like you send me research and I just trust because you're a researcher. Like you research everything. So I trust whatever you say. Now I'm going to have to like double check. Oh, oh my gosh. I, so wait, his mother was incarcerated? Why was she incarcerated? Wait, he's from Pennsylvania? He's from West Virginia? Well, now I'm gonna have to double check whatever you infer or you say. Okay, interesting, interesting, interesting. So, maybe do you think maybe you told this story because you like you just wanted to like subliminally get back at us because of the fact that like we left you at the gas station when you were little? Like you have to tell people what happened with your gas station. I don't remember it either, so I just know from we're gonna have to ask mom and dad or Michael. We'll ask Michael. Michael and um, well, yeah. So tell me more about that. Like because when I went on to look at it, like Gemini was like, I can't tell you. I don't have that kind of information to tell you or something. Gemini gets snippy with me all the time. I told him I was gonna just shut him off. I said, yeah, no, that's what I told it because yeah, no, I mean, I tell it that I say, don't say you're sorry because it always says, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to hear you're sorry. Just do like what you're supposed to do. This is your job. Yeah, but you're talking about in the upper settings, like the you can like of what you're gonna have it call you. I do it verbally and I write it. And it still doesn't listen to me. I don't know. So tell me about this intelligence test because mine evidently didn't. Well, that makes sense. I mean, think about it. Mhm. Well, Well, that one it is I do find that interesting. I mean, because like I think after my injury, like I started really looking into brain development and like what goes on with your brain and like can you fix it or whatever. Um, it's just it's very interesting how your brain can like it protects you from like knowing certain things, I guess, or remembering certain things. Um, and I think that's really interesting as far as like what's happened to me. They said it's actually what happens a lot of times is like your brain is like delayed. So whenever they like, so you have your injury, you don't really remember stuff. And if you do, it's kind of like you're not really at the place where you actually are going to be like when, like when you're, after a couple years or whatnot. But they're still like it's weird because it like then you get to the point where you think like things are a little bit better, but then it just goes kind of backwards. It's weird because it's like your brain like for a short time it's like it's a little bit okay but not exactly. But there are a lot of things like if I'm tired or if it's very noisy or if it's um just if I'm overstimulated with like the surrounding stuff, um like I don't remember like the one time I had a really bad day at work and I it was really really loud because work with those kids and bless their little hearts. So super loud and I totally forgot like basically what I was even saying. Like I was up at a board and like writing, I like literally just forgot what I was saying. I came home that day. Like I don't remember even coming home. I don't remember like a whole day in addition to that. It's so weird. So like my brain just forgets gaps now of things. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like our family's very loud. So, I like the whole idea of like this the noise stuff like really bothers me. And like yeah, I mean, I guess if I think about it, yeah, I think well cuz like this whole stuff with like math and stuff, maybe not the finger thing, but other than that, yeah, I didn't catch that one. But I finally did catch on at the very end. It took me a little bit of time, but I got it. It was It was up there. Well, my brain. What's funny is like when I go to bed, I tell my brain like I just say, well, I have a little head but a big brain, right? So I tell it to like plug. It has. I plug in my phone, to charge my phone, and I tell my brain it has to charge, and this is its time to recharge. So then I fall asleep. It's really strange because prior to the accident, I really had big problems sleeping, but now like literally that's what I tell my brain and my brain's like, "Okay." And it just goes to sleep. Like it's like it knows what it's supposed to do. Like it's really crazy. Yeah. No, I mean I think that's great. Well, do you remember your dreams? Like, do you have dreams? No, because I don't remember my dreams. Like, I don't think I even have them. I mean, I guess I don't know if everybody has dreams or not, but I don't remember my dreams. Like before the accident, it was weird because I remembered a lot of dreams. And then right after the accident, like I remembered a lot of things. and then that was it. Like as time's gone like by, it's really strange because like I feel like my brain is like evolving into like a completely new brain than what it was before. No, that makes sense because if you think about it, if I had all those nightmares before, like, or even just dreams, period, nightmares, dreams, whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, I do think my brain is becoming more efficient though, because it's like funny because I look at things and I think like the first thing is that I think is like, okay, so how can I do this more efficiently? Like, what is like this just seems so ludicrous that I'm gonna like spend all this time on something when I could just do it. Like I'm watching the other teachers sometimes teaching math, and I mean I get it that like, but it just sometimes it's just like, why are we going through all these steps? Like why do we teach kids like 20 million steps when and all, I mean like literally like if you, it doesn't make any sense. Like these kids are learning these things like even phonics and everything, and you're teaching them all this stuff, but like it's much more practical I think to learn like just learn like intuitively, like this is, I don't know, like let's say you're looking at the windows, right? It's going to be an automatic like rectangle or square or whatever size it is. And then you just measure, but your mind is already there. All you have to do is retrieve the information and figure out how to put it like on a piece of paper and understand the information that you retrieve. And it will make sense. Like a perimeter, it makes sense. If you look at the square, the window, like that's around, like it just makes sense. I don't, in the area, stuff like that, I don't understand, why don't we teach like that? And you just do these abstract things that are on, a train was moving 500 miles per an hour, and right. Yeah, I mean, I think, well, even now though, I think like, I mean, like the whole thing with the brain thing, um I just think like now I can see how things are connected. I think it didn't click so well before. I mean, I saw connections, but it wasn't like this. Like I can see it. Yeah, I mean, I think some of it definitely is my age. Yeah. So what is that? But you're really smart, Andrew. Like you never have to study or anything. Yeah, well, that's what I think the one thing that about teaching has helped me because it has allowed me to make a lot of mistakes. Like if I'm teaching, the kids or whatever, like they don't know if I'm being goofy or if I'm actually, I mean, they think I'm goofy anyway. So like, they're like, oh, Miss, so, you know, she's a very intelligent young lady. Do you know what it is? What yours is, though? Do you know? What have they said so far? No, you're, like, genius level? Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well well, no, it's funny because I do know what my IQ is, at least according to prior to the accident. I don't know if it still is. Yeah, I'm, like, kind of, like it's like one it's one I think it's either 135 or 137. So it's not like genius or anything. I'm just like there. But that was prior to the accident. That was when I was young. What is his? No, what is it? Because here's why. Because I know that he is, well, I know he's more intelligent than me. So that being said, he was, what is it, like 160 or something? Yeah, that's when I took mine. Like maybe it was grade school or what is it? His is one, wait a minute. His is 126 and mine is 135. It's either 35 or 37. I can't remember. Um, I don't really remember, evidently. I mean, it was just I remember when, you go through all these tests. They used to give us all kinds of tests when we were kids. Like I don't believe they do that anymore. Okay, what do you mean you failed it? How do you fail the gifted program? Okay, so Andrew, listen to this. This is really messed up. I don't know if you heard this story, but so they have, like, they tested me for the gifted thing, and it's Michael must be off because I know, like, that doesn't make any sense. Why is his IQ lower than mine? Yeah, but I mean, if I'm 135, like that means, well, duh, look at me, Andrew. Of course, I'm very intelligent. Didn't you know you have an intelligent sister? Yeah. Well, that's why mom and dad used to always say, "Well, we expect more of you, like you're supposed to be so intelligent." Well, we had a rough, like, go at it. No, but here is what the situation is. So the gifted program, I don't believe that they even have the gifted program. Yeah, and it's not as exclusive. I don't know. It was super exclusive. But here is what's interesting is that they had, like, the gifted program and Michael was younger than me. They, for whatever reason, like, Michael was in it full time, right? So he was in the gifted program full time. So they come and take you out of class, and then you get to do like brain games and like all these activities and do like mind Olympics and all that stuff. Well, for whatever reason, I was in it part time. How are you able to think a gifted program part time? And well, that's what I'm saying. Like it was crazy. So I was in part time. So I always knew like Michael was more like he had a higher like he was more intelligent or something was along the lines because I was the part time person. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think well, the thing is like in school, I did very, very well on all my tests, like those achievement tests and everything. The only thing is what happened was whenever I realized the significance of them, like I don't know if it was like I don't remember what happened or whatever. I just remember like there was a moment that my scores went significantly down because I realized they were super important. Like my SATs sucked because of the fact like I realized how important it was, and I like it was I did so poorly. And like Miss Selby, do you remember her, Miss Selby? Oh, shout out to Miss Selby if you're out there. Um, anyway, she was an English teacher. She was super awesome. And I was the only student that ever got like 100% on all my vocabulary tests. And she was like super proud of me and she was so excited. She was like, I can't wait. Somebody's going to get like a perfect like score in their verbal, blah, blah, blah. And then like I came and I felt really bad like telling her I did not do well. Like, it was, like, crushing to me, but I think it was, like, one of these things, it was, like, a psychological thing. Because before it was like, "Okay, whatever." I didn't realize the significance of the importance of, like, this means you get into whatever school, like, or you get a scholarship or whatever versus that you don't, and that freaked me out. But it was the achievement test, like, before that, like, you know how they used to give you like tests, like they give so many tests now to kids, like I think that it's not even like there's no like they're just what do you call that, desensitized to tests because of the fact that like nothing is special. Like our testing stuff was like one set special time, and then after that, and it was like, but after that, it was like you didn't understand the importance of it. At least I didn't understand the importance of it, like in the beginning. Like, did you know the importance of those tests? Well, the SATs, but like before that, like I said, like when I was a kid, I did very, very well on those tests. But then after that, then really, that's really interesting. And it's so funny because I think I told you this before, but I always thought you were like super smart. I'm like, he doesn't have to study that much. He's just like super smart. And when you're talking, you're always like you're very intelligent. Yeah, I mean, I think like when you're a kid, though, at least we grew up in a household like our parents were like super big on education, and like n- I think at the time I thought that it was horrible. Like as far as that went, as a kid, I was like, "This sucks." Like we were always getting grounded. But sidebar here, well, really? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, Andrew, but they mellowed out with you because what happened was I was the first kid, right? So, oh no, I never liked to be in trouble to begin with. So that was not like my thing. I just like, I was like, I don't know. It was one of these things. Well, yeah, I think that that had a lot to do with it. Yeah. Well, you already had the trail. All you had to do was like walk on it. Yeah, I mean, I think well, so sidebar though for people out there listening, we never got grounded. This is like so like I mean when I say we never got grounded, my parents like this is how much education was important in my house. Education, my parents believed everything that we should do should be educational. And it's very funny because as a teacher, I tell my kids the same thing and they think I'm crazy. Like I'm like, you shouldn't go to like wherever on a field trip. You guys should go to NASA. Like the headquarters, I mean the place in Cocoa Beach. Anyway, or Cape is it Cape Canaveral is like up there, I think. Anyway, whatever it is. So they called being grounded being blitzed. Do you remember that, Andrew? Yeah. So then, like being blitzed, you couldn't go outside. I mean, no, you had to go outside, of course, because that was the way it was. But you couldn't watch TV. Not that we had that much TV to begin with, because we could only watch like an hour. No, it was a half an hour of like regular TV, but it was an hour if you did educational program. Yeah, but you could watch educational programming like PBS. I grew up on PBS. Like that was like what I watched as a kid because we weren't allowed to watch like so you were allotted more time if it was educational. So there was that. Then you but you lost like all this. What's that? MacGyver was? Yeah. I mean, let's face it. How many times have I MacGyvered something? Like this is like what happens. So but it was so embarrassing though because our friends would call and like we weren't allowed to use the phone and they would call and dad's like it's like Christine is being blitzed right now. And they were like, yeah, like we had to sit there and like read. So that was like a punishment. So and of course you had to do your homework. So the thing was, since I didn't get like anytime if I came home with like a grade that was less than an A, mom and dad like I would get like blitzed about like this whole thing. Oh, they told me they gave me the threat. Like, well, they gave me the threat, Andrew. I wasn't ever going to get in college, and it was going to be horrible. And I got the terror one. Well, no, I mean I did well, but I did well in school, but it was just I did have I did have like a year that I didn't do so well, but it's relatively compared to everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mhm. No, I agree. I think that um yeah, definitely mom was like all into reading. Like we entered a book contest. Did you ever do any book contest? Like reading contest? Seriously, Andrew, we like and Michael and I won. Like I remember I read like the whole entire section of the library. No, no, no. These were reading contests. Like I won like reading like they I read so many books that they had no more books in the library that I could read and I had to go up levels. Yeah. Yeah. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, Michael and I used to do the dictionary. Like we would go, our thing was like when we got bored, we would read the dictionary. So we would sit there and read it. And like you didn't read it? Like, I mean, this was like you didn't read it. Like, didn't everybody read the dictionary? Did it work? Well, I remember Michael and I, we would do the things and then we would, like they say that you should use the words that you learn. So then so we would pick, different words and then we try to top each other because we were quite competitive. And like every time, like I would say, like, I don't know, I can't really even think of an example, but I'd say the word in a sentence and then Michael would like add another word on top of that and like try to beat me. And then I would add another sentence with another new word that we learned. The that's what Do you remember that? Oh my gosh. No, no, I was just thinking he's like, "You dorks." Like, we were kinda dorky, I guess. Party song. I must have been did I do that or no? That was just you and Joseph, huh? Y They were, like, we were I do have to say it's funny because, like, with the kids nowadays, they cannot occupy themselves for even 5 minutes, like, it's so weird. Like, when we were kids, it was like we almost looked forward to free time, like, as far as, like, like, when adults or whoever would leave the room, and then we would just make up stories and pretend and do all kinds of, fun things. But kid- yes, we had puppet shows. We did all kinds of stuff. I don't remember this at all. Like that must have been something I blocked out. Well, who was leading it? Who? Wh- I don't know if it was me. Maybe it was Michael. Why would I participate in it? I don't know, but so along those lines, Dad asked me if I would be a part of the band at the cabin. Are you going to participate? I told him the same thing. I said, "Nah, I'm passing this time." He said, I don't know, maybe the kids, I don't know, somewhere, our nieces, nephews somewhere. Believe that he roped some other ones in, but they willingly went, according to him. So, well, okay, so yes and no. So let me explain here. When he came to visit and they had typhoid, like they were typhoid Marys, um, they he did play something for me, but I don't really remember it because I I just don't remember it. I don't know if that was before the accident, after the accident. I don't know. I know he did play something, but I was also really now that must have been after the accident because I think it was relatively recently. So he like, but I don't remember it because I was so sick. So typhoid Mary, talk about learning things, right? So mom doesn't tell her grandkids, those of you who were listening, my mom doesn't tell her grandkids they're going to get sick by not washing their hands. Instead, she pulls out like the information from the history books because my mom loves history. So she told these children, these are little children, she told them all about typhoid Mary and that they were going to spread typhoid and it was going to be horrible and they were going to be carriers of typhoid Mary if they didn't wash their hands. These were like 3 and 5 year olds. She's telling this. Bryce and Michaela. She told Bryce and Michaela. Yeah, she told Bryce and Michaela that they were going to be typhoid Marys. Well, I guess living on a farm it would even be worse. But anyway, I just thought that was a little sidebar I had to tell people because like I said, this was a household, and I am very grateful. Like, we grew up in an educational kind of thing where they threw education in whenever they could, like in everything. So, anyway, Andrew, tell me about like what you were going to tell me, and what do I have to look forward to? Tell me this. I'm looking forward to. No, I'm talking about Dad's concert, though. Well, Well, who was the crowd and when was this? I didn't hear about this, but I'm saying when was this? I never heard about it. You never told me this story, or maybe you did, and I don't remember. Well, the question is I sprayed water all over the place. Um, so what is going to happen, I guess, when we go to this cabin? So he's going to be playing a lot. It will be like this. Literally, this is my dad's notes. Like, and it looks like this. And then he's like, Scoobs, Scoobs, hon, pull it up on. Well, oh my gosh, tell people about what happened with dad in the car accident. Not the car accident, when he got pulled over. This is a funny story. Everybody has to hear it. How what the hell? Well, he didn't get a ticket at all? Well, did dad ever get a ticket? How do you even get a ticket downtown Beaver Falls? Like, how fast was he going? He just what so that's it how fast was he going though? Oh my gosh. that is crazy. Well, you know about well, you never got a ticket, right? Oh, okay. So like just like a ticket, like a stoplight ticket or something? This is true. Well, um, yeah, so to let everybody know, my parents, Andrew says that he's the middle child and neglected. Meanwhile, Andrew is the favored child. My father says that he is the safest driver. I also want to say that he also he lets him my dad is all into his driving. He will come and visit me and tell me how wonderful Andrew's driving is. And then mom will sit in the back seat and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Christine, you should see those shrimp that Andrew always gets. They are just huge. They don't have them like that in Florida, do they?" And I'm like, "Mom, I don't even know how big this shrimp is, but evidently, like Andrew gave them the biggest shrimp ever. They were the best shrimp that they ever had because everything is like the bar was like insane. So I've never been able to give my parents the big shrimp that were as big as Andrew's. Like that's yeah, but well, maybe Andrew. What model is it? Wh- I don't know. But Andrew is their favorite. So no, I don't wanna drive the car, like, because when they came down here to visit, dad was like, "Whoa," he's, like, hanging on for his dear life, like, literally, like, he's hanging on, like, those those things? You know what I'm talking about? Those things? And then one hand's like this, and one hand's like this, and he's hanging on like he's gonna die, and then he's like, "Whoa, that was almost an accident. Whoa." Like every 5 seconds, I was finally like, "Dad, you cannot do that. I can't drive with you saying that." Well, I did tell him that I said, "I can't do this. You're gonna have to." Oh my gosh. But mom's like, "Mike, you can't do that. You just can't. Christine can't drive, and then she's gonna get us in an accident." And dad's like, "Well, we almost already got in an accident." I don't know. No, but like, yeah. So everybody is jealous of you, but Joseph seems to think that he's the favorite. Well, he was surprised that you or Michael were the favorite. Like Joseph was like, "I thought I was." I was never. Yeah, well, they told me that. They said, "You're gonna have to do this if we die." Like, they went on, like, this thing, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, they were like everything was all about, like, they decided they were gonna I still don't know what their burial plans are or whatever, but, I mean, they did everything from, like which, I mean, I do have to say, as a kid, it's good. It's very odd. Yeah, they bring it up. Well, they pulled me aside, and mom and dad were like super serious, and they said, "Christine, we have something really serious to talk to you about." And I was like, "Okay." So they pulled me aside and they told me that they didn't write me in to do any responsibilities for when they die, and this was like 10 years ago. And I said, "Why not?" And they said, "Well, because you live in Florida." And I said, "Okay." So they're like, "You live in Florida." Plus, I don't know, maybe they just thought I was like out in left field because they're like, "And you're just, you live in Florida. You live in Florida." I think there was a little bit more going on than "you live in Florida." Well, you got, I mean, because Angela wouldn't be like, right? Because she has kids. Like, so she has to take care of kids. So she can't take care of kids and mom and dad. Well, well, then what did Joe say? No, he did not. When was this conversation? When was this? What? Well, they do so much at Joe's house. They're always dad's like always like saying he's fixing things or something. I don't know. Like mom's like cooking and dad's fixing things. I don't know. It's like if I was Joe, I would let them come up and like maybe fix some things and cook some dinner. What about the trailer in the yard? I didn't hear about this. What? What? Wow. That's really funny. Well, Michael, when I like stayed at Michael's house, for the summer that year, Michael put me in the basement, right? So it was very funny because like his friends, "Oh, where are you staying?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm staying at my brother's house. I'm staying in the basement." Well, he pulled me aside and he goes, "Christine, it is not the basement. That is the lower level. You are making me sound very bad." And so every time I go, it's like funny, like the lower level. So that's where mom and dad stay. So I don't know. So those are some family stories, I suppose, of our like craziness. So we're gonna have like a we're gonna meet with our family. Actually, I didn't realize that's next week or this week or whatever week. Like, yeah, it actually will be a week from now. So we get to like we're gonna ask them questions. Well, what was your brain thing that you said you have a brain thing that you wanted to ask me or brain? Oh, I guess I never thought of it. I mean, I never thought of it that way, except for I will say, whenever my accident happened, I said, and this is to this day, like well, now that I'm learning the benefits, kind of not benefits, but now that I'm learning to like live with this situation, like I don't, I mean, I don't want to go back to the old thing. Anyway, so but I just remember I was really mentally challenged for quite some time. And I said, I would do anything to get back my intelligence, because I felt like that was something that at least, your appearance, whatever, like all that stuff doesn't matter. Like if you have no intelligence, like it doesn't matter. Like to be dumb, it's so weird. Like people treat you differently, and they really, a lot of people try to take advantage of that. And a lot of people like are just like they talk down to you. Like it's so weird. Like I don't know how dumb people deal with it. Like I'm not okay, that didn't sound right. Like okay, okay, that doesn't sound right. Let me just okay. I okay, along the brain thing, let me tell you, okay, don't always have a filter. But I'm just saying, like, it's very frustrating because then people also have like these low expectations. And the thing is, like, it's like one part of my brain knew that I'm not this stupid, but yet I literally couldn't do hardly anything. Or if somebody asked me to do something, like I just couldn't figure out what they were saying. So people like start treating you like you're like infantile or something. Like it's so weird, like that. Like if you, like I don't know, even if you go into a store, like I went into this store one time, I couldn't figure out, like for whatever reason I couldn't figure this out. Like I gave a coupon to the lady and she wouldn't take it. I don't know what the deal was. Whatever. I just remember it was like something to do with a coupon or something. I think mom was there. Maybe she wasn't. I don't know. But whatever it was, I was so frustrated because I kept on giving it to her, and I giving it to her and giving it to her. And like there was this huge line, and people were so mean. Like they're like, you're just retarded. Just give her the thing, for crying out loud. Like she's retarded. Like let her do whatever. She doesn't understand anything anyway. Like literally, that's how it was terrifying. Like because I don't. I mean, I believe I've gotten my intelligence is different now. It's a different form now. So I don't feel like that I don't feel as intelligent as what I was prior to the accident, but I feel like things have shifted kind of, but I feel like that was the scariest thing, I think, as far as just the idea that you could never calculate things, or talk to somebody like on a level that they wouldn't think that you were uneducated or whatever. and I couldn't form sentences. I mean, now I still have problems sometimes, but it's not the same when it first happened. That was the most terrifying thing I think that I've ever experienced in my life. Like just to have that, like, and the thing is, especially if you know, like in the back of your head, you know that you used to be smart and now you're dumb and people are mean. And just the idea, because I was thinking about going back to grad school and just I couldn't do it. Like well, not back to grad school, but like, to further my education to get my, and I was like, prior to that, I was gonna like thinking about getting a doctor's degree and everything, and I couldn't do any of that. Like, and it was like, this is the end. Like, I can't go back to school. I can't do anything. Like, and then when I got a job at first, I mean, I just didn't understand what the hell was going on. I had no clue. I had no understanding. And the thing is, it's really hard. You can't see this. Like, if you looked at me, I didn't look like I was injured. I mean, and that I think was the most frustrating thing, because it's not something like, at least if you had something on your face or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, if or whatever. But that was really terrifying. I don't know. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you? I mean, I don't think so, but I could be wrong. That was Yeah, I mean, I think too, with everything, all the stuff that happened in my life, I finally was, I figured I went back to school and everything was good to go and everything was good. And then to have that happen, I think was just really also one of those things. Like, I was really proud of myself that I went back to school and I got really good grades. And, I mean, I felt like I was finally like living up to my potential, kind of a thing. And then that happened. That was another thing that was just a crush to my ego, but it wasn't even ego. I mean, it was your ego, but it was also like, I finally am getting somewhere. Like, I'm really proud of myself that I did this, and I persevered regardless of the situation that was going on. And I went through a lot of stuff, but it was happening and I was making it happen and I was like on fire. And then that happened, and that was the end. Like, it was like I did all of that work. I am grateful I did that before the accident. I don't believe, I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't go back to school, but I believe it would be a real struggle. So, I mean, did you know that about me? I mean, did you what did you think, like, when that stuff happened? Like, but I mean, could you tell that I was not intelligent or something? I mean, could you tell? Yeah. What did mom say? Oh, yeah. That's it. It just, that was so weird. So I am grateful, like, that I feel like, although, like I said, my intelligence has like gone in another direction. It's kind of cool. Well, yeah. Well, it's weird too because, like I said, with like, well, reading, I was a vivacious. Is that what the word? Not vicarious, vicarious, vivacious reader, and I mean, basically, well, like if you would find me like reading a book, I was always reading. Like I was reading all the time. Now it's like really strange, like to read. And actually, like, I used to be able to, like, read something and know what I was reading, like, somebody would ask like, talk about it, and I could, like, have a conversation about it and tell them, like, details about it and everything. I have no clue half the time when I read something what the hell I read. Like, I just read it and I'm like, "What the hell did I just" Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I think is kinda cool about doing the teaching thing because a lot of the I mean, all of my students basically are struggling because 'cause they're, in remedial classes, and the nice thing is they're between what, 2nd and 6th 7th grade now? 2nd and 7th grade. And so, like, I kind of can go back to basic things, you know? I think that that's kind of neat, and I thought I would never ever do this before, but, like, for the reading stuff, I always tie everything, almost always tie it to math. But it was funny because the kids were doing, I told them like they were picking up books and they were reading them like, I don't know, whatever. I forget what names of the books. But anyway, so I told them, I said, guys, you can figure out the meaning of words through the context. And they said, you know, looked at me like I was crazy. Anyway, it was funny because they wrote down all the words and it was weird. Like in my head, like I looked at all the words and I was like, okay, I know what all these mean. They're like, Miss, how do you even know this? But it was like, it's very strange because it feels very foreign to me as opposed to like when I'm helping them with the math or I'm doing math, like I understand that not unless it's a finger thing, but I understand the math stuff and I can just sit there and I'll sit there like in 1 second if they don't know it, like, and be like, okay, so here's how I'm going to explain it to you. And it makes sense. Like, 'cause my mind is like, okay, so this is connecting to this and this is connecting to that. And I get really excited about it. Like, and then I'm super excited and I run to the other teacher's room and I'm like, guess what? This is super exciting. Like the fact of like, okay, so if you're working with like a 49 and maybe nobody, like, maybe this is not news to anybody else, but if you're working like not 49, anything with a nine, right? Like, and you multiply it, why weren't we taught just to put like 50 and then minus or add the number? Like, doesn't that make more sense? Like, say it's like I don't know, 529, like right times 49. Why don't we just put times 50? And then you just add an extra, I mean, deduct like 549. Like, doesn't that make more sense? Like, no, I mean, like literally, it's so much easier. So then that's like like that takes away a lot of time, like the office stuff. Like you can just like look at this and it just makes sense now. Like, why do we have to go through all, like, I think that's the other thing. My brain has like, it keeps on going and it's like, okay, so if something, if it doesn't consider something important or efficient, it forgets it or it doesn't process it. And I find that very interesting because so much of my stuff, like it's funny, like you're sitting during a meeting at work or whatnot, like I guess my brain doesn't really see the connections there. Like there's a few things. So I always try to like draw like or doodle or something to put it in my brain. And then I listen like whatever. I use AI to help me, with this stuff. But I am very grateful for AI though, because it does help me, even though my AI is a little wacky, but he's wacky. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, so I just briefly, I know the market has been, like, super insane lately, and NVIDIA and, was it TSMC or something? Okay, so I was just wondering, like, are you bullish on them or bearish or, like, and, like, how much time? Like, how much time? Mhm, yeah, yeah, mhm, right. Because the I wanted to say, well, what about Palantir? Like, I mean, so they got outbid Palantir or something, or Palantir is still like, right? But weren't they supposed to be like? So you're saying it was a defense contractor with who did you just say it was with? Oh, so yeah. So wait, so they're doing that, and then okay, so but that's not impacting like Palantir stuff, right? So do you think it's gonna go lower than it is now? Yeah. So you think it's, like, lower like, it's I mean, it's gonna go everything's gonna go lower than, like, what it is now, or do you think it's kind of like it's not earnings all the earnings have been, like, really good though, right? Like, all the earnings reports, I haven't heard anything like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, do you think that it's, like because I was listening to a podcast and they were saying that only like I think at the most maybe 10 or 20% of people are actually using AI. Like, um, was it like the same basically for you? Right, right. Well, right. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, so do you think along those lines, do you think maybe because I think when cell phones first came out, it was kind of like everybody was like, "Oh, well, they're like only a few people use them, right?" And then more people use them and more people and now even homeless people have a cell have a cell phone. So, do you believe that it's gonna be kind of like that? Because I think some of that too was people were scared to use a cell phone, like, for so many reasons. I mean, and I know people are scared to use AI. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is yeah, your GPS, everything, right. Yeah, Right, right. Well, that yeah, that makes sense. I know, like you were saying about being more efficient. I did a gem for my lesson plans. So it really helped me do the lesson plans. I did all of my lesson plan, like, so I got all of the what are they called? The standards, and I, like, pulled them from there and just told it to find, the standards for that. And then I also did like certain books that they had, and I had all of that stuff like in the gem as, their resources. And then I just like worked with it and outlined like how I wanted the lessons to go. It was really cool. I mean, granted, the school didn't like me like going off the grid kind of thing, but I didn't like it thought the way I thought, which was kind of cool. Like, right, right. Yeah, well, they do have agents. They do have agents that do that, but I mean, I have to figure out like that's yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're that right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is interesting. I think as far as like you were saying about the agent or gem or whatever, I do think like it has like for me that's really helped me. I mean, I used to spend forever trying to figure out these stupid lessons. And the thing is once I had to like redo them, like cuz I had to redo all my lesson plans, um I just tweaked like how I had them do it, and I had them all done within like, I mean, granted, I did put a lot of effort in a lot of effort, but I believe, like, if I talk to any of the other teachers, none of the other teachers have all I have them for the whole entire year. Right. Yeah. So, on that note the Giants. So, unfortunately, to anybody who has tuned in, there are, well, as far as we know, please do let us know if you find evidence of this and cite your sources. What's that? Oh. Huh. Okay, well, I love you. I will talk to you soon, Mr. Andrew. I'll see you soon. Oh my gosh. Well, we will. Yeah, I think it will be exciting. So everybody with that, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what did you say? There you go. They are well they'll do that. I can make a Google form with like and with our questions and then we can just put it all and then we can put it in a data sheet because data is awesome. All right, love you. See you later. Bye bye. Okay, stop streaming. Um, no. Okay.